And here they are. So let's first of all see who is gonna win the Daro. But really, top 30 shoe. It has been, I think, 11 years since we didn't have a top 64 at the Italian Nationals, obviously. And still basically made it with a 9-shoe record. Vanquish sold. Amazing stuff. Again, as a reminder, deck that just came out legal from June 1st. And that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Michelangelo must be incredibly happy with this result, especially because he told us he was very confident with this deck in the interview, and he was also counting on the fact that basically most of his opponents didn't really know what was going on while playing the deck. And I think here we will face, you know, this Runick Furhide from Flavio, not be having a very easy time with this, but nonetheless, here,
absolutely. And again, just as a reminder, Wild Survivors set that came out last Thursday with the Vanquish shows, and amazing here already. But Flavio is not going to give his opponent an easy time. We saw multiple times again, even earlier on, we had Flavio on stream, how this deck can be super effective at drawing even 5 cards each round, and that's amazing. And that's obviously the Dinka Bui deck inspiration that Flavio took it from.
Yeah, and I think might be the first time that instead of being someone reading Michelangelo's card, is Michelangelo himself reading someone else's card. Because he might not be super familiar with the Furhide cards, but are you surprised that Michelangelo didn't use the drawn and lock at all?
It's probably because he used it on the draw phase, I want to assume, but now we are in the main phase, and he's probably gonna draw now, exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's gonna read the rookie, and obviously the draw and lock, really strong card across the board. We mentioned it already that it's one of the most popular options, but he's also going into the gigantic or maybe the mannequin here. This is nice because when you go into the mannequin for the draw, you get to summon the beat from the deck.
Yeah.
And let's see if there is another response from Michelangelo. Doesn't seem like it.
And I think he also showed us how basically he mastered this deck. So it's he's very confident with it, and in general we saw also with Dinka Bui, as mentioned, how this deck, you know, can incredibly well perform.
Gonna ask just some clarification on these effects, but even if you get stopped, and that's what we saw with Dinka, when you draw, you can just end on an incredible field and draw cards during your opponent's turn. So
yeah, I think that's what makes this deck incredibly good, because I mean, if you get draw anyways, I think you have a lot of lineup plays, and with the fountain being activated as well, they will be able to activate some other runic spells during Michelangelo's turn. And now play is back to Michelangelo. So let's see. So looks like he has a full monster hand, and we'll try to go for the very first card here, dealing with the mannequin cat and some runic spells in his hand.
And now let's see again. I think he has another fountain, obviously the rookie, which he searched for. But yeah, now plays back to Michelangelo. And he's going to start things off with Dr. Mad Love, it seems, allowing him to search for a spell and trap from his deck.
And I think this might be the first time in which also Flavio, which brought this deck, might be having some troubles with this.
Because now we see the freezing curse, but this is a nice interaction. Since you can get it back to the end, it will be able to resolve and get a spell and trap.
And I think in general, Flavio's strategy worked out pretty well in this event, because the deck is incredibly consistent. But on the other side, I think the deck is also super built up to play against Kashtira. And
Yeah, and he got Herbalian once again, the
Yeah.
Borger, the soul heavy Borger, which allows him to draw a card by revealing a dark. During both players' turn, this is why the deck usually. We could say in this instance, at least they're somewhat similar because they both draw cards during both players' turn.
yeah, which is very good, honestly, because
Yeah.
on Michelangelo's one, he plays multiple hand traps and Flavio, with all the runic spells.
And both on Droll.
Yeah.
Because Droll is just really strong in this format. Now, yeah, they're both obviously gonna play as best as they can, and he's gonna reveal one, draw a card with the Borger. And if he gets to reveal two, just like we saw in this future match, he can have some additional effects, such as dealing 1500 life points of damage. But now we get to see Flavio using the mannequin and special summoning a card that Dinkabui was actually not playing, which is the Philo Messenger Fur Ire. An interesting addition, a one-of in the deck. And here you can see drawing 3 cards with Runick Fountain. Amazing. And just for you guys who might not be familiar with it, Philo, what it does is mostly used during your main phase again to special summon. But if a Furier is special summoned to your field, you can then special summon one more from the graveyard. And this is nice because it triggers the beat to destroy a card, essentially.
And let's see what now Michelangelo wants to take it from there, because it looks like Flavio knows what he's up against. And I mean, we said this before, one of the 2 losses that Michelangelo had was against one of his friends who knew his deck.
Yeah.
So,
But again, Flavio had similar reasoning as Michelangelo. They both played a deck where they knew that their opponent would be not too comfortable with it. And now, once again, we get to special summon a different one, which should be the Caesar Values, which allows to reveal 3 to destroy another card on the field. And that's exactly what's going to happen right now. It's also a 3000 attack body, which is unaffected by your opponent activated effects if you reveal just 1 Earth. So it's pretty interesting card, we could say.
and I think I really like also the way the Vanquish Soul cards interacts between each other.
Yeah.
Because basically you keep replacing them with other ones, and I think here we got to see for the first time the Rock.
It's definitely an interesting deck, as we could see, and not experimented much. He didn't have much time to play with it, obviously. And now the Rock, which again can add 1 back or special summon 1 from the end, and this will get him to finally the Raisin, which allows him to go search for a monster, and that is El Panteron.
El Panteron.
Pantera is added. And just like previously, what you can do is you can destroy cards in the same column as the Vanquish Soul. In this case, monsters. In the case of Pantera, spell and traps.
And as you're witnessing, Michelangelo still continues to add pieces to his hand. And as we saw in the previous Fury match, he was able to put up 5 monsters on the field to seal the game. So it's going to be very interesting, because on the other hand, Flavio has a lot of cards in hand.
Yeah, they are both on pretty much 5 to 6 cards in hand. And this is the main reason why they were able to make it all the way to the top cut. Now he's gonna use the Slumber as protection to banish some cards off the top. And now he goes to activate one of his spells, which is the Vanquish Soul Continue, with a question mark.
Yeah.
But he is going to continue. And there is a tip, which is nice. You can go search the Flashing Fire, for example, to just disrupt one of these monsters. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And obviously, we have to keep in mind that a deck like this has an alternative win condition, which is decking out.
Yeah.
And I can tell you guys that actually Flavio guaranteed this spot by decking his opponent out in the last round of Swiss. And as you can see here, we get to reveal 3 different attributes for the Caesar, which allows Michelangelo to destroy a card on the field. And that's gonna be the Mannequin Cat. Now he's gonna go for a Link Summon. He could go for Phoenix. Yeah, makes sense to draw a card and destroy the fountain, which I don't think Flavio has a response for.
And also we have seen Michelangelo basically prioritizing this play. And I mean,
as you can see, if it's co-linked, the Phoenix draws his opponent a card. I don't think it's worth using the Flashing Fire to protect it with the Yugin, right?
I don't think that's the case. But
this might be a misstep, because even if you were to destroy it, it doesn't really matter. And as you can see here, he's considering it. I think, obviously, if you don't chain it now, the fountain is gone, and then you cannot chain it anymore. And this is what he's going to go for. He's going to destroy the Phoenix, but it does not matter. You still get to draw a card.
Yeah. And indeed,
And as you can see, first he's gonna banish from the Flashing Fire, and then he's gonna draw a card off the Phoenix. And this is impressive, because now Michelangelo still on 5 cards in hand and able to clear most of this field from Flavio. Wow.
I mean, impressive stuff from him, and we've said this before, how powerful the Vanquish Soul deck is, and he's proving us that basically it was able pretty much to clear most of Flavio's field.
Yeah, gonna switch to the battle phase, it seems, just attacking over the beat. And I think he might be done. Yeah, so play is back to Flavio, who activates his second copy of Fountain. And now the rock can be used to add something back or special summon from the end. But it seems like instead he will go for the Philo to special summon another Furier from the end, which is the Rex. As you can see here, he's gonna activate the Rex, and then he's gonna activate the Philo to get the beat back. And now we get to see the Fossil Dig, once again a card that it's pretty much a consistency piece. You can get to the Rex most of the time, which is good enough alongside any Runick card to combo through. But there is a Nibiru
Nibiru,
in the
yeah.
end from Michelangelo. So unless he plays around it with a gigantic, it could actually be really strong here. Rookie is gonna be activated, probably searching for the Rafale, I would say. And instead, okay, gonna go for both Dompa and Beat. Which allows him to pop a card and get yet another special summon.
I think he also revealed an Ash
Yeah,
Blossom, right?
unfortunately, he special summoned it in the same column as the Raids.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes when you're not too familiar with the deck, you can make these small mistakes, but it didn't matter too much, at least for now. But we know that it does matter because there is a Nibiru.
Yeah.
So Nibiru is gonna hurt so much here.
And I think here Michelangelo just wants to wait the right moment to activate the Nibiru, because now the Raphael gets added to Flavio's hand.
Yeah. And once he gets added to the end, he can be special summon and excavate a lot of cards. But at the same time, now the Nibiru should be active pretty soon. And with only one card in the end from Flavio, unless it's a Runick, there is not much that he can do. So I think he's counting, you know.
Yeah, I think he's counting the summon, but we are at least at 5. Yeah, going to excavate some cards, and okay, there was a Runick spell.
Here we see, and obviously was looking for any Runick because he has a lot from the previous turn in the graveyard, and any of them pretty much is a +3.
Yeah,
so
basically.
that's awesome. And exactly what he was looking for, gonna go for the freezing course, and this allows him to not only banish some cards off the top, but draw 3 cards. We know that the Ash Blossom is in the end, which obviously is gonna be used now, I wanna bet. And yeah, Ash Blossom stops the fountain, which means if his opponent commits afterwards, there is the Nibiru. At the moment, I think he summoned maybe 4 or 5.
At least 5.
I think he's exactly on the 5th because it was double Rex, and then with the misplay of summoning in the same column, I think that was the 5th summon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think he ashed the Raphael. I think that's what happened.
And here is the Nibiru from Michelangelo, clearing the entire field. Wow. The thing is, sometimes this deck can access Gigantic easily, but sometimes you really need to keep it as last card. And he's also gonna chain in response to get back and protect the Raisin from the Nibiru. Let's see if there is a response. I think again it would be the Borger most likely.
Yeah, that's correct. And here just having some clarification on this. Yes, just counting on how much the Nibiru token will be.
Now let's see if Flavio can find anything. He passes play back to Michelangelo, who is in full control, just has to play around some of these possible Runicks in the end outside the Rex.
And we'll only have to see whether Flavio drew into any Runick spell cards. And now plays back to Michelangelo, played it well. And on the other side, of course, the Nibiru was there to just clear the entire field. There was not that much that could have been done.
Again, Flavio gonna make sure to pay attention to it. Gonna use the effect to special summon the Dr. Medlov from the end. Searching a spell or trap from deck. And again, it's gonna be the Vanquish Soul Continue, allowing him to special summon one from the graveyard by paying 500.
And once again, we're witnessing one of these back and forth game in which both players have still, they're talking the situation. And we have seen so far a lot of game one lasting from 25 to 30 minutes. It's not going to be an easy one. And here, once again, there's going to be some clarification on Michelangelo's activation. And here he continues once again with the CSS.
Gonna reveal free to destroy a card on the field, and that's probably gonna be the fountain. So his opponent needs to chain something, and it's the flashing fire. But unfortunately, unless he summons a Yugian to protect it, and that's exactly what's gonna happen, at least he guarantees that he can draw cards with the fountain afterwards.
Let's just try to see here if Michelangelo can find his way to deal with this, especially because there will be a point in which the phantoms will be activated to draw some new cards.
So he shuffles back to draw. And yeah, the fountain is protected by the Yugian. Let's take a look at the end. There is a Nibiru for sure. And it seems like 3 Vanquished Souls. So these 2 draws are the most important ones for Flavio. But in the meantime, 24 minutes down the line and still game 1. Wow. Only 1,000 life points difference. And just because Michelangelo paid for them.
I mean, we were saying this before that there have been a lot of game 1 in which, there was a lot of back and forth, and you couldn't really figure out in which direction the game was going.
This is a nice play. Once again, co-linked Nightmare. Now is the Cerberus to draw a card and destroy the token. Yep, so discards the Mad Love to pop the token, which are gonna see a freezing curse on, banishing some cards off the top. And as you can see, this is one of the tech cards. He's playing free main decked copy of There Can Be Only One. It helped him a lot during the previous future match.
Yeah.
Not sure if he's gonna keep them around for this one, as we know that all of the Furiers are different types. But yeah, a Dark Ruler. Again, Flavio maining the free copies, interestingly enough. And we are going quickly for a Link Summon into one of the most amazing cards, which is the Donner Furier.
And here, once again, here comes the Philo on the field. And yeah, also the Rex. It is a very close one, because basically things started with a draw lock that basically shut down Flavio's strategy. But here, once again, I think that we are seeing a comeback, but there's another Nibiru.
Yeah, there is another Nibiru, and if the first one hits, the second hits Artes, and you can see Flavio just really sad about this one. He thought he was back.
You may never know, because basically once the Nibiru is here, there's not really much that you can do with that, and gonna deal with it honestly. And it's gonna cause Flavio, of course, a lot of troubles, because he thought that he could have extended this combo now, but that's the way it is. And here I think they're just counting how many summons have been done, but everything is fine.
And yeah, once again, Nibiru showing strong. Gonna count how much the token is, but brutal Nibiru once again. And unfortunately, it's just gonna be a set card and pass, it seems, from Flavio. Back to the same exact situation as last round. And as you can see, Michelangelo gonna activate the reinforcement, hoping that he still has a copy of the card in his deck. He does. And he's gonna use the Raisin to search for any non-warrior, which in this case, it's gonna be the Heavy Burger.
And Michelangelo needs to be sure, though, that some cards, how many cards are left in his deck, because we have seen this before with Flavio basically decking out his opponent with all the Runick spell cards.
Absolutely, and it's a very tough spot to be in if you are Flavio, but you have some hope of decking out your opponent. Here, though, we're gonna see the Heavy Burger. It can attack for a lot of damage right now, and even deal 1500 potentially with the effect. That's exactly what's gonna happen. 1500 damage with the effect of the Burger, and play is back to his opponent.
Yeah, that's it.
Picks up his cards, and after almost 30 minutes of a game one, it is Michelangelo who takes it.
Impressive stuff from both of our guys. It's honestly an incredible show-off. We saw that, and we said this already, that bringing up on the Italian National Championship, these two decks was, incredible at first spot, and, they're battling it out. Honestly, it was a very close match. And now taking a look at the side deck, of course, the pressure is on Flavio, who most likely, was incredibly more prepared for a lot of other matchups. Still, I think that he can find some solution in his deck. There is the Cold Body Grape going first. He also plays Ash Blossom if he really feels like that is going to be needed. And there are a lot of options as well for going second.
Absolutely, and as you mentioned, they are going to try to improvise in the side decks what they can do. Obviously, both decks that want to start to set up their combos, draw as much as possible, and hope that their opponent do not draw into the draw.
Yeah.
Because that's the #1 enemy for both of these guys. But at the same time, I think Michelangelo's life is slightly easier because the deck is somewhat known.
Yeah.
Flavio probably has no idea what he's up against, and he will have to improvise, maybe with generic cards like Ash, or maybe Cold Buy. I think it's nice to stop your opponent end shots. But I think these guys are gonna give their best to win as fast as possible because only around 15 minutes remain. Let's go into game number 2.
And here we are. It would be nice to ask Bocca whether he will have any suggestion.
Yeah, obviously, Il Bocca would have been here in the top cut if he came to this event, but out there grinding. And now let's take a look at this opening hands. Flavio once again trying to set up his Runick combos, and there is only an impermanence, I think, in the end from Michelangelo.
Okay, starting things off once again with the fountain and the freezing.
Flashing fire.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see if he goes for the greedy line, drawing 2 by discarding a Runick, or whether he wants to play it safe. I think he has 2 Runicks plus maybe... No, he doesn't play Bell. I don't know which one that was. But
Might also be a Spright.
maybe. But as he goes for the greedy line, basically drawing and then searching fountains, which means obviously in case you draw one of those cards, the fountain, you cannot resolve it. Makes sense.
And now Flavio is just taking some time to consider whether will be the best spot, you know, to proceed on this. And yeah.
Wow, and there is a second fountain. With the tip, gonna be able to draw at least 2 more cards if he feels like it. Obviously looking for any of the Furiers or any of the Sprites. Unfortunate draws for now, but gonna banish 4 more cards from the top of his opponent deck.
Also a good hit with the Pantheron being banished. You know?
Absolutely, which is a one-off. Yeah. Let's see if he can finally pick up Fossil Dig or any of his cards. Not quite, but maybe he still has some hope. Gonna use the effect, which is nice. It means that he has at least another Furier in the end. Maybe the Rafale could be in there. And now he's gonna link them away. Let's see if he has something else going or if he's the donor all that he has for him. Yep. For now, as you can see, Michelangelo allowing him, but he does have at least the one-offs, a lot of one-offs drawn, both the beat and the Dompa. But this is nice enough.
And it looks like that there's no other interruption from Michelangelo's side. I would assume that.
I think it's 4 Vanquish Soul in the end. I'm pretty sure. But as you can see here, now he gets to the rookie, thanks to the Rex, most likely. He's also playing the Mayhem, and this is exactly what we're seeing here as an option. Flavio really taking his time here to figure out what kind of turn he wants to go for. I was thinking maybe the Nibiru was an issue, but he has already committed enough to the point where it does not matter. So he will go for the Jerry, adding back the second fountain from the grave.
And I think something also to keep an eye on is 10 minutes is, what we have left. So something to keep in mind. And here just giving Michelangelo some explanation there with the Folgo.
Yeah, this is the usual combo where you're able to draw 3 cards and excavate 1 of 2 with the Rafale usually. And that's exactly what's going to happen here, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
It's what we have seen. Ooh, and the tip is a huge hit. Even the blue, wow.
What a hand, honestly, from Flavio.
Yeah.
And, we have said this before, the deck is incredibly powerful, has a lot of different solutions, and also what we like about the deck is basically you can afford to play a very small, Spright engine, and by just seeing one, you basically see them all.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds. Are you surprised that he didn't go for like Jet Plus starter into that?
Yeah, that's interesting, honestly.
But now we get to see the Pluton activated. Not that it matters all that much, but it just wants to prevent the red from negating it and summoning a body, which can gain 3000 attack.
Yeah.
So just gonna get it there, which can be risky though, because if you can trigger and pop it, you then have the Folgo to draw 3 already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see if this doesn't come back to hurt his opponent. But alongside it, he has drawn into the heavy Borger.
And here comes the red. What a start, honestly, from Flavio, who is continuing, honestly, to go through Here's combo and then getting rid also of the Pluton as well. Very impressive stuff from him. And now also getting other draws from his deck. What a showcase. And I think this is the Runick 4R Spright at his best. Because now, as we were mentioning before, you usually go for the Gigantic as one of your last pieces. And yeah, I mean, now we will soon find out whether it brings up on the field. Okay, it brings the Rex.
And this is what we have seen plenty of times. Impressive opening by Flavio through a lot of interruptions. Gonna set up the Mascherena, and now only a miracle, I think, can save Michelangelo from what an incredible field Flavio has put up.
Very, very impressive, honestly, especially because, like, I don't really think that there must be a way to get around this without, for example, Dark Ruler no more or stuff like that, because basically, if having only Vanquish card, you're in trouble. So let's see if he finds his way. Okay, you also had an Ash Blossom, but I think it makes sense with all the cards that Flavio drew previously. And you just activate the Ash Blossom there, and then you also have the red just in case, and then the Apple Loose as well. I think you have so many interruptions. And then the Rex, bring in the Raphael. And yeah, this is getting really out of control because now the red negates the activation from Michelangelo that he gets destroyed, and he's only left with 2 cards in hand. And I mean, look at this, honestly. Because now he also gets, you know, activate the Folgo, draw 3 new cards. This is really getting out of control. And Michelangelo only left with 2 cards in hand.
Yeah, it seems like this will be really tough. And just as a reminder for any of you guys watching in Top Cut, as there cannot be a draw. The rules are actually quite different if the 45 minutes are over. And that's exactly why you can see Michelangelo picking up his cards. The main reason is that if time is called and it's 1-1, just like it would have been here, then we are not going to a game 3 when the players decide. But basically what happened is they need to die a roll again, roll the die again to decide whoever is going first, and they will have a sudden death 4 turns game. Unfortunately, maybe, just because it's exciting, we will not be seeing this, and Michelangelo is gonna try to go first with about 3 minutes remaining and try to win as fast as possible. But this is really an exciting ending to this top 32. One last game to decide who will advance to top 16, and unfortunately one of them is going to be kicked out of the tournament.
It will be incredibly important here how to start things off with, and we've seen that both of our guys are really speeding things up. It's been incredibly like a showcase of both decks in game 1 for Michelangelo and in game 2 for Flavio, and I think this is what we're really looking for. Looks like our players are almost ready. I would say let's just jump into game 3.
As mentioned, 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining to find out who will be the winner, and nice fist bump. Let's see who will be able to take this one home. Michelangelo going first. Obviously, important to notice, he has a few cards that actually deal damage, such as, and most importantly, the heavy burger, which can deal 3,000. Because it's obviously can be activated just like any of the other cards during both players' turn, and that means he can deal 1,500 during his own and 1,500 during his opponent.
And here looks like that Flavio doesn't have any other sort of interruption, and no troll, no ash, and also Michelangelo, we have to say, really knows his things and go through his combo very well without even thinking about that for a second. And looks like he set a card, and I think play is now on to Flavio. Just taking some explanation here, and yes, we are in Flavio's turn, who I think has a lot of spells.
Yeah, doesn't seem like it was the best opening from Michelangelo, but as we can see here, as long as you activated Runick, you need to skip the battle phase.
Okay, interesting choice here to activate the Ash Blossom, but there was the tip.
So tip can get to the fountain if there is yet another one Runick spell in hand, and exactly gets to the fountain, which means he can potentially draw free right away with only 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining, which by the way means that if time is called and they are still on the same, we are gonna go on a turn-by-turn based. But here, putting them in the same column once again can be a crucial mistake, because the Raizen can destroy both of them in the same column. Obviously, the Yugin can then protect, but still something you really need to keep in mind. El Panteron is back.
And you can tell that our guys here are really speeding things up, because they know that 1 minute is now approaching.
And as you can see, he's gonna pop both. Yugin protects, but unfortunately cannot be used because both of them are destroyed at the same time. And this is exactly why this was a crucial mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
Very unfortunate from Flavio, who will try his best to stay in this, but with the heavy burger on the field, there is a good chance that he can deal 1,500, depending on the attributes in his hand.
Let's see here, another Yugin, and then the fountain.
And this is exactly what's gonna happen. It seems as if he's gonna reveal to deal 1,500, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what is going on, right? and Flavio really speeds
Yeah.
things up.
So
Draw
now
3.
10 seconds remaining to deal 1500, or the game is going Michelangelo's way, and this could be the whiz. I think the only chance might be the whiz, because time should be called any moment, and this means there is no battle phase because
Yeah.
of the Runicks. But there is one card, which is the Wiz Sage of the Furier, which gains 500 life points for each Furier monster you control. So this is the win condition from Flavio that he sides for this specific situation. So as long as he can put up on the field a few Furier monsters, there is still hope. And this is exactly what's going to happen. Let's see if he has access to the card.
Are we witnessing it?
I think so. So now he already has two different ones, but there is going to be a flipped Dust Devil, which is going to put them face down, and this is actually pretty huge, shutting down the possible wids. And this is the end of it. Michelangelo takes it, advancing to the top 16 with Vanquish Soul.